So for today, we'll be discussing advanced review and revision techniques for legal documents. So why is advanced revision critical? The stake is legal defensibility. A report is considered as a testimony. In legal and security context, your report is treated as sworn testimony. Flaws in the writing can lead to flaws in credibility. So if you can remember when we say sworn testimony or sworn statement, ito ay isang dokumento na kumbaga ito ay isang pangako na totoo lahat ng sinasabi dito. Kaya nga sworn, 'di ba? Sworn, swear, promise, 'di ba? Kumbaga promise lahat ng nakasulat dito totoo. So 'yon, sworn statement. Kaya kapag may maling nakasulat doon sa report, kumbaga merong issue dito. Kaya mahalaga na nagre-revise tayo. Binabasa natin ulit yung buong report para ma-check kung meron nga bang pagkakamali talaga or okay na talaga according to your standards. Risk of ambiguity, imprecise language, misplaced modifiers, or vague terms create ambiguities that opposing counsel will exploit. When we say ambiguity, this means medyo malabo, hindi gaanong clear ang pagkaka-explain ng isang bagay. Kaya nga ambiguous. Ang other terms pa nga na ginamit kanina is vague. Ang sinasabi dito is kapag gumamit ka ng mga ambiguous terms, yung opposing counsel, yung kalaban mo na abogado, yung kakaharapin mo, pwede niyang gamitin yan laban sa'yo. Due diligence failure. Reports that fail to clearly document the 5 C's can expose the organization to liability or negligence claims. Revision is not proofreading. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng proofreading? The focus of proofreading is checking the grammar, the spelling, and punctuation. The goal is to eliminate typographical errors. So, for example, imbis na 1 million pesos yung nakalagay doon sa document, ang nailagay mo is 11 million pesos. So, that's considered a typographical error, diba? So, yun yung mga bagay na iniiwasan natin. And then we have revision in its macro form. The focus is structure, flow, logic, and organization. The goal is ensuring the document answers the core questions or the purpose of the document itself, kung bakit siya ginawa. So basically, ang ginagawa dito sa macro revision is that chine-check kung kompleto ba yung details, chine-check kung maganda ba sila pakinggan. So sabihin natin sa isang report merong 4 na issues, na explain bang maayos yung bawat issue na yon, yung 4 na issues na yon. So that's part of macro revision. And then we also have another type of revision, the advanced revision. The focus is precision, tone, and legal soundness. Chine-check kung maganda ba pakinggan yung document. Hindi ba tunog mataray? Hindi ba tunog bastos? Yung ganyan. Tapos, chine-check din kung tama ba ang mga pinagsasabi legally. Sabi nga natin kanina, di ba, the report is considered a sworn statement. Kaya hindi pwedeng magkamali doon sa sworn statement. Kaya, again, chine-check ang legal soundness ng isang report. The goal is guaranteeing the document is accurate, objective, and legally sound. So phase 1, structural and logical soundness. This is the macro review. The outside-in audit. 1, confirm the conclusion. Does the conclusion directly answer the original request? If the client asks for a threat assessment, does the conclusion provide a recommended mitigation strategy? So yon, i-check mo kung tama ba yung conclusion. Yung mga bagay na hinahanap doon sa report, yung mga tanong doon, nasagot ba? That's checking. Number 2, check the chain of logic. Trace the path from the evidence or findings to the conclusion. Is every finding necessary? Is the logical leap between the facts and the opinion sound and objective? Kumbaga, check the evidence, check the findings, and then compare it to the conclusion. Yung mga nasa conclusion ba ay base dun sa ebidensya o base lang sa opinion? Kasi hindi pwedeng base sa opinion. Di ba nga dapat ang reports, they are objective. Third one, verify the exhibits or references. Ensure every reference such as the case number, evidence tag, map, citation in the body text is accurately reflected in the appendices or reference list. Kumbaga, this is just double checking kung tama ba lahat ng nakasulat doon. Baka ang evidence tag is A-112, tas ang nalagay mo A-111, di mali na yun. Magkaibang ebidensya na yung tinutukoy doon, di ba? And then number 4 is test the executive summary. Can a high-level manager read only the summary and walk away with a complete understanding of the problem and the recommended solution? So basically, ang isang executive summary is the summary of the whole report. Kaya nga siya executive summary. Kumbaga, kung yung isang executive, babasahin niya yung summary na yon, magigets niya na agad. So ang sinasabi dito is you have to check the executive summary. It has to be right. Phase 2 is precision and clarity, the micro review, eliminating ambiguity at the sentence level. So basically dito, mas mababang level siya. Per sentence ang pag-check mo. Titignan mo kung yung mga wordings, yung mga phrases na ginamit mo ay akma ba para doon sa kung ano yung nire-report mo. Titignan mo kung yung mga words na nakasulat doon ay para talaga mai-explain mo ng maayos yung ibig mong sabihin, yung gustong maipahiwatig doon sa report. So number 1, active voice mandate. Convert all passive voice to active voice to clarify who did what. This is essential for incident reports. A weak example would be the door was opened by the guard. A strong example would be the guard opened the door. Sinasabi mong direkta na binuksan nung guard yung pinto. That's active voice. And then number 2 is verify verb tense consistency. Stick to a single tense, usually past tense for events that occurred throughout the narrative. So kung magsusulat ka ng kahit anong report, actually hindi lang naman sa mga ganitong technical reports kahit anong reports, kahit anong mga uri ng letters, ganito dapat, isang tense lang ang gagamitin mo. So kung tapos na ang event, nire-report mo na lang, dapat past tense yan kasi tapos na lahat. Number 3, avoid nominalizations. Do not turn verbs into nouns. For example, changing decided to made a decision. This bloats sentences and weakens action. Nasa basic writing natin to, 'di ba? Na dapat hindi masyadong mapalabok. As much as possible, keep it simple. Hindi naman kasi maganda na mahaba yung mga pinagsasabi mo. Number 4, use definitive language. Never use seems to, appears to, or possibly. Replace tentative language with objective facts or stated professional opinions. Kasi kapag sinabi mong possibly, pwede naman, parang ganun ang dating, 'di ba? Hindi ka sure sa nire-report mo. Hindi dapat ganun ang report. Ang report dapat tunog na pinag-aralan. Dapat tunog na alam talaga kung ano yung nangyari, ano yung mga pinagsasabi ng writer. That's why it has to be definitive. Ang isusulat mo ay mga objective facts. Now we move on to different advanced techniques. So advanced technique number 1 is the principle of the shortest sentence. Clarity through brevity. The goal is simplify complex ideas by breaking run-on sentences into 2 or more distinct, clear statements. Identify clutter. Look for unnecessary prepositions in the case of due to the fact that, yung mga ganong phrases, also redundant phrases, consensus of opinion. Pag sinabi ng consensus, yun na yung opinion ng marami. Yun na yung opinion ng majority, di ba? Basic fundamentals. Di ba nga, pag sinabing basic, ito yung pinaka-pundasyon mo, ito yung fundamental. So, mali kapag sinabi mong basic fundamentals. And legalistic jargon that can be simplified. The one idea per sentence rule. Each sentence should convey only one core thought or piece of factual information. This prevents the reader from losing the main point. So, basically, ang sinasabi lang dito, clarity through brevity. Mas maikli, magiging mas malinaw. Kapag mas marami kang sinasabi, it becomes more complicated. So, you want to avoid that. Dapat hindi ka komplikado mag-discuss, hindi ka komplikado magsalita. So, here are examples. First one is a cluttered example. Ito yung hindi mo dapat gawin. Due to the fact that the camera system was malfunctioning in the morning hours, the security manager made the determination that the footage could not be used for investigatory purposes. At ito naman yung dapat mong gawin. Ito yung dapat mong isulat. The revised example, which is clear and precise. The camera system malfunctioned in the morning. The security manager determined the footage could not be used for investigation. Diba? It's simpler and it's more effective. It's easier to understand. It's easier to comprehend. Second advanced technique, this is the plain language mandate. Writing for the non-expert reader. Kasi ang mga reports, hindi naman lahat ng magbabasa niyan ay experts. Kumbaga mga kalahi mo. Kung ikaw ay security expert, hindi naman ang magbabasa ng security report, lahat security experts. So you have to use non-jargon words for them to be able to understand your report and for them to become knowledgeable on your report and for them to comprehend the report. Kasi yung mga non-experts na yan, usually they are the decision makers, especially kapag ito ay yung mga private companies, di ba? So, define technical terms. If you must use specialized jargon, for example, rigor mortis, striations, recidivism, define it clearly on first use or in a glossary. Assume the reader is intelligent but not specialized. Yon ang kaibahan ng paraan ng pagsusulat ng mga technical documents. Paraan ng pagsusulat ng isang mahusay na technical writer. Kailangan i-assume mo na matalino yung mga nagbabasa ng report mo. Pero do not assume that they are specialized, that they will be able to understand all the technical terms, all the specialized terms. Kasi nga hindi naman nila specialization yung specialization mo. Avoid legalisms unless quoting. Replace formalistic legal phrases with simple English. Heretofore, before this, yun na lang ang isulat mo. Pursuant to, according to, yun na lang ang isulat mo. Said as an adjective, the or this, yun na lang ang isulat mo. And then maintain an objective tone. Ensure the tone is detached, factual, and neutral. Eliminate any hint of emotion, advocacy, or subjective judgment. Katulad ng paulit-ulit nating sinasabi sa mga lectures natin, ang mga documents, ang mga reports, they have to be objective. Hindi pwedeng may emosyon. Hindi pwedeng nagsulat ka gamit ang bugso ng damdamin mo. Hindi pwedeng ganon. Kasi nga technical documents ang mga sinusulat mo. So next is the legal soundness checklist. Proofing for admissibility and compliance. So first question to be asked, is the chain of custody verified? Is every piece of evidence cited traceable through the entire report? Such as, if evidence E was tested, did the report show E was received, tested, and stored? Chain of custody, diba? Ito yung dokumentong nagsasabi kung kani-kanino dumaan ang isang ebidensya. So throughout the report, you have to check nung kinuha ni examiner 1 yung evidence. Nalagay din ba sa report na ibinalik niya yung evidence na yon? That's one. Second is the methodology replicable. Pag sinabing replicable, able to be replicated. Kaya bang ulitin? Are the procedures detailed enough that another expert could replicate the process and achieve the same result? Doon mo kasi malalaman na valid ang isang experiment kapag kaya siyang ulitin. For example, nag-experiment ako. Ito ang naging resulta. Nag-experiment kayo. Ito pa rin ang naging resulta. Ibig sabihin, valid yung ginawa nating methodology, yung paraan ng pagkuha natin ng data ay tama. Kasi iisang result lang ang nakuha natin. Number 3 is scope of expertise. Did the author stick strictly to their field? Such as, a guard should not offer a medical diagnosis. Kasi nga, security guard siya. Hindi naman siya medical expert or medical doctor. Maliban na lang kung medical doctor nga siya, ta security guard. Pero kung hindi naman siya ganun, hindi nga siya pwede magbigay ng medical diagnosis or even medical advice, diba? A ballistics expert should not assess criminal intent. Number 4 is absence of exculpatory bias. Did the report include all findings, even those that might contradict the prosecuting hypothesis? Kasi diba, usually we would think na ang crime laboratory would be parang kampe sa prosecutor kasi pro-victim sila, 'di ba? But if they do that, that would be biased reporting. Kaya nga para masabing walang bias ang isang report, lahat ng findings niya ay isusulat niya. Wala siyang iiwan kahit pa na medyo taliwas doon sa hypothesis ng prosecutor. Okay lang yun. Scientific objectivity requires reporting all facts, not just helpful ones. So kahit na hindi helpful yung napag-alaman ninyo doon sa examination nyo sa isang ebidensya, kailangan ma-report pa rin. Kasi nga, the report has to be unbiased. Number 5 is data security. Was the report prepared, transmitted, and stored according to organizational protocols for PII, personally identifiable information, and confidential data? So basically, ang sinasabi lang dito, yung pag-i-store nyo ng mga information ay tama ba? Yung paraan na kinolekta nyo ang information, tama ba? Yan. That's part of data security. And then last is the conclusion or the final audit. Best practices for the professional. First one is cooling off period. Always set the report aside for at least an hour, ideally overnight, before the final review. So, ang sinasabi dito is, pagkatapos mong gawin yung report, wag mo munang i-revise ka agad. Wag mo munang ipa-finalize. Kumbaga, maglagay ka nga raw ng cooling off period. Magpalamig ka muna. Kumbaga, para makapagpahinga yung utak mo, ma-check niya ng maayos yung sinulat mong report. A fresh perspective catches more errors. Again, kaya ka nga magpapahinga is para ma-refresh yung utak mo. Ma-check mo ng maayos yung report na ginawa mo. And then next is read aloud. Reading the report loud forces you to slow down and hear awkward phrasing, missing words, and weak logic. Diba? Pag gagawa ka ng speech, babasahin mo siya out loud. Tapos doon mo mapapansin, ay parang baduy naman pakinggan yun. Ay parang jologs naman. Ay parang pangit pakinggan yun. So anong gagawin mo nun? I-revise mo nun. And then reverse review. Read the document backwards, sentence by sentence, to focus purely purely on grammar and structure, detaching from the overall narrative flow. So that's another technique. I-check mo sentence by sentence pero magsisimula ka sa dulo para hindi ka bothered sa pagkakasunod-sunod nila. Ang chine-check mo lang talaga is grammar and punctuation. So those are some of the best practices for the professional technical writer.